So when you look at where you are right now, what is
Mhm.
the impact that you want to make within the community regarding the relevance and the importance of the middle grades?
I want to be able to give the students the tools so that they will be successful as they move on in their grades, and also to give them the vision, the aspiration to what they want. So to help them develop their vision. And part of that is, well, let's set some goals, and we're going to set goals, and we're going to discuss how we meet the goals, and we're going to discuss what happens if we don't meet the goals and how do we adjust things and all of that. So I really want them to understand being a bit of a futurist, right? Thinking about what your life is going to be like next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. Who do you want to be as that person? And that comes with absolutely thinking about, where am I now? Who am I now? What do I love right now? How can I take what I love and use that to build my future?
That's powerful.
Thank
So
you.
now stepping out of your classroom, what would
Mhm.
you like to see your your either your school site or your district, the organization you work for right now, to do for students who are in the middle grades to ensure that they have a healthy transition from the middle grades to high school?
I would love to see, and this is a me thing. I would love to see less testing and more teaching.
I'm sorry, once again, can you say that for the people in the back of the room who probably could not hear you because maybe they haven't pulled their seat up close enough to the table?
Okay, so less testing, more teaching.
What does that look like and what does that mean?
It means that we don't have to stop our education for quarterly benchmark testing to see where the students are. It's using the data that we already have so that we can make predictions. And that means understanding data and understanding that there is a child behind that data. And that if we're looking at benchmark data, that's a day and a snapshot in a child's life, and it may or may not be accurate because, as you were mentioning before, they might not have had breakfast that day. They might have had a fight with a little sibling on the way to school. They might be living out of their car. So a lot of days are not great days. I think that we need to really focus on enriching the students and making sure that they see how what they're learning in the classroom can apply to other things. An example is, I have a friend who's a filmmaker, and he is coming into Phoenix in a couple of weeks, and we are now working on how he's going to be sharing with the students filmmaking. The students are going to be creating their own commercials, but they need to have a little screenwriter, they need to have their videographers, producers, directors, all of these things. So for the middle school students, and we're an arts school, so this is just fits right in. But his purpose, and he's also going to bring his drone so we can get drone footage in, so that's awesome. But his purpose is, he wants the students to do rather than just talk at them, which is exactly where we want to be. And then this not only keeps them there, keeps them excited, but then shows them, this is why I need to learn English so I can write a script. This is why I need to learn math so I can become a licensed drone pilot and figure out these angles and different things. Or why I need to learn math because I need to be able to focus my cameras and use different cameras and different things. Or why I need my STEM because this is going to help me in my scouting for locations and different things. So all of these different things really do support some things that they might want to do in the future. So we have to give them those opportunities. And that's really what I think globally we need to do more of, and really allow the students to sink deeply into the curriculum and then say, okay, here's what I'm going to do with it.
Well, you've said a couple of bad words within your response. First, you said data, and you and I both know not everyone is data driven.
Mm-hmm.
We have people who run away, shy away, close their eyes, turn away from data,
Yes.
either because they're afraid of what it's going to show them
Mm-hmm.
or what it's going to show about them. And
Yes.
then the other word you used or that I got from this was experience. You want to give the children experience, our learners experiences. And this even means experiencing failure so that you'll know how to go back, redirect, pivot, make adjustments
Hmm.
so that you can get it right. Because anything that is done great had so many failures prior to it.
Or if you do it well the very first time, it wasn't enough of a challenge for you.
Say that. So, what can you add to enhance that, to improve it? I love it. And I love this idea that you're partnering with someone with film who's going to come and give the students this amazing experience. And out of all of the curriculum they're going to learn that this during this school year, it's that experience that's going to be one of the things they're going to remember because
That's what
they
I
did
hope.
so
Yes.
much with it because they did. I'm sure you and I can both think about assignments we had in elementary school, junior high, middle school, and high school, where we were actively creating something based on the curriculum, and we remember that assignment.
I still remember Mrs. Tuller,
Uh-oh,
fourth grade.
come on now.
She brought in, because she was friends with Tito Puente.
What?
Yes, yes. I have two Tito Puente stories, and this is one of them. But she was teaching us about the culture and the background of Tito Puente. And then she had him come in
Oh my,
and he was talking to us and he was demonstrating, and he actually broke a drumstick on one of the kiddos. He was drumming around the room and he broke it on, I think, one of the kiddos, the back of one of the students' chairs. So we got to keep the drumsticks and they were mounted and hung up in the classroom. And who knows Tito Puente when you're fourth grader? Oh my goodness, though. I learned who he was and like that was an amazing experience.
my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Great. I still see him in the front of the classroom. I still see him drumming around the classroom. Oh yeah, all of it.
The experiences. This
Mm-hmm.
is what we have to give our learners experiences.
Exactly. That's why it's so incumbent upon us to be kind of creative, but think about where this curriculum is going to take our kiddos.
Mhm.
What can we really focus on? And that comes back to all of our students, no matter who they are, having that communication with them, having conversations with them. Where do you think you might want to go with this? So we were talking about taking a trip in Phoenix. We have a really good science museum. So we're talking about maybe doing a field trip there. And we also have a really cool musical instrument museum in
Ooh,
Phoenix. And they have all kinds of history of all kinds of instruments and just really great exhibits. They have shows. So we're talking about maybe doing something like that because my students are interested in these
mhm.
things. So we've got to play on those things and build on those things and then let them know, okay, so if you want to do something like this, here are some of the steps.
Yes.
Let's build on that.
I absolutely can't wait to hear how your school year ends with all of these potential activities and study trips that the students will do.
Uh,
And I think that is why it's so important for us to help our students not to get stuck in
mhm.
these middle grades, not to feel stuck in these
Yes.
middle grades, but to see how they can soar and strive through these middle grades. So when they do get to high school, because high school is going to be a whole different game.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
going to be earning these credits and you want to go through all the A through G requirements. And even if your desire is not to go to college, I still feel it is our responsibility to give all of our to get all of our students in all of their A through G required classes so
Mhm.
that they can decide if they want to take it to
It's
college
their
or
decision.
take it to trade or take
Mhm.
it to the military or take it to entrepreneurship or whatever they decide to do. But
Yes.
we're giving them access to
Mhm.
all of the curriculum
It's about
and
access.
they're going to make the decision.
You just made me think of something with the students in the middle because we have our elementary kiddos, we have our high school kiddos. So the elementary kiddos are like the youngest children. The high school kiddos are the elders, and then we have our middle child, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of like in that family structure still. And what happens to that middle child? They're not quite treated the same, right? They maybe don't get all the perks of the oldest one, and they don't get all the, the babying of the youngest one. So I think that might be an analogy that we can think of when we're thinking of our children in the middle. And I know last night you were like the hamburger, right? And we said,
Yes. What ingredients?
yes, yeah. Are they the pickle? Are they a condiment? What
What
in the
ingredients are they in
hamburger?
this burger of academics? They're
Yeah, yeah. So
really.
I think that we have to understand that these middle children, when they're in middle school, they are like middle children, and
Mhm.
they have a different set of needs, really.
Mhm.
And we can't treat them as completely as adults as they might be treated in high school. We can't baby them because they're no longer babies. So how do we deal with them? And it's just going to be, it's a moment by moment thing, because sometimes they do want to act like babies, and sometimes they do want to act like, oh, yeah, I'm too cool for Christmas kind of thing. So, it just really depends on where they are in the moment.
Yeah.
And something else that you had said earlier is, we don't know anyone's full story, right?
Mhm.
So we don't know where they are. That
Right.
came up in my classroom yesterday as well. One of the kids was saying, well, I'm just having a really hard time right now.
Mhm.
And he was kind of joking around, but it was the opportunity for me to say that that's true. We
Mm.
don't always know what's going on in a person's life. And that's why we need to focus on being kind,
Yeah.
because my students are struggling with their kindness right now. So that was a moment, that was that teachable moment. So, and I
Mhm.
was glad that he gave me that opportunity. But I think that our middle school students, we don't know where they are at any given moment. I
Right.
don't think they know where they
I
are.
do.
And that's part of their development, and that's okay. But
Yeah.
as long as we hold that space open for them to be whomever they are at that moment
Mhm.
in time, remember, it's not personal. Whatever they're saying, they're doing, it's nothing personal. It's not a reflection on us. It's just where they are in their development. Then we can develop those relationships and help them move forward as successful young adults.
Absolutely. Because they're too old to be young and too young to be old.
That's perfect. Yes,
So
yes.
we need to help guide them.